Topic is whether there should be random drug testing in the schools. I believe that's the topic for today's debate. This team, Mr. Mohammed, Pro. Team, Mr. Brown's group is Tom. Okay? We're going to flip a coin. Which team calls it?
It was his coin.
Okay, call in here.
Heads.
Heads. And it is tails. Your choice to start.
We're going to start.
Okay.
I think random drug testing should be done in school because there's a lot of drug use going around in teenagers now, and it would make the school safer, and it would put other people out of danger of the drug use.
I'm in favor of random drug testing because in the long run it helps them.
I feel that if you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't be worried about taking a drug test.
Okay, Tom.
I feel that there should not be random drug testing in school because if you take certain medication in the morning, it could show up on the test.
False testing may occur when you eat poppy seeds or sesame seeds. It could be an invasion of privacy for some people. For most of the students here at ROMBOUT, there's no problem with
So those are the initial statements by each group. You went first, so you get the question first.
Her on the end, she said about roundabout. We're not just talking about roundabout. We're talking about, and besides, you don't know that there is no drug use in roundabout. There could be a lot of drug use that you
I
don't
never
know.
said there wasn't any drug use in ROMBOUT. You're putting words in my mouth.
Any other questions? Questions for that?
What did Patrick say again?
That it would make the school safer by getting the drug users and dealers out of it for other students that don't do drugs and don't want to have anything to do with them.
Okay, but what happens when the drug tests are all over? Then they're all going to come right back and start doing drugs again.
Not if they get them into a rehabilitation center where they can get help and get off the drugs before they can come back to school.
What if they don't catch them? If they don't get proven with the drug test?
Well, then it's a shame, but it's at least you tried. Better than not
So
doing anything.
what about like certain false tests?
Well, false test, that's different too. That's why I think maybe it should be done 2 or 3 times even. If for the person that is suspected from the test.
Wouldn't parents be like outraged if all of a sudden you just pick their kid to be drug tested?
Well, I think they might be kind of happy that you're trying to get the drug use out of their schools and making it safer for your children.
But why would they be happy? If basically a drug test is saying, we think you're doing drugs. Random drug test, not just every single person, just single people that they think is might have something to do with drugs. That's basically saying that we think you're doing drugs, and it'll probably make you feel like a criminal. Then your parents will be really mad.
We're talking about everybody, not just single people.
We're talking about random, like, not everybody.
Well, random, it doesn't necessarily have to be random, though. If they do it to everybody, it would be better for the school in the long run, not to have all these people getting high in school and getting other people into doing drugs and everything else. And I think some students would be happy, because I know I wouldn't mind if they asked me, and because they were trying to get the druggies out of the school, I wouldn't mind.
But still, though, to have all these kids drug tested plus all the kids that are in the rest of the school, that would take a lot of time and that would take a lot of money from the school.
Well, time and money is better than somebody getting high and killing somebody or somebody overdosing and dying.
That hasn't really happened in ROMBOUT.
Well, it hasn't, but nobody says it can't.
And I mean, they're not going to really do anything without the parents' permission. What if the parents say, no, I don't want you to test my kid?
Well,
They're going to test him anyway or something?
Well, that would be up to the school.
It wouldn't, because if they tested the kids without the parents' permission, then, I mean, that's not really right, you know?
Well, I'm sure it would go to the school board or something before it even could happen. We're not here to argue about what the parents or what they
No,
think.
we're arguing about drug tests, and drug tests
Right.
wouldn't really happen to kids unless the kids are caught with drugs or the kids have, or the school has the parents' permission. That's what I'm saying right now. So, and basically, what if the parents say no? I don't want you to touch my kid. What are they gonna do then?
Well, I guess
You
they
gonna test them
can't,
anyway?
but, you know, maybe they'll make them keep a closer eye on the child, because I think that would make me suspect that a kid of drug use if his parents said, no, he's not doing that.
But how you gonna tell another kid that this kid can't take the test, but you have to take the test?
Well, if the other kid's parents say no, then I guess he can't either, but I guess it would really be, if you know you didn't do anything, then what are you so worried about?
Wouldn't you be mad though that they're saying, oh, you gotta take the test? Don't you think, wouldn't you be mad that they think you're doing drugs or something?
Not necessarily, because it might be better, because if they're catching these drug users,
And then that goes back to false testing. What if it's a false test?
like I said, maybe test them 2 or 3 times, just to make sure. If you eat poppy seeds or sesame seeds, they're gonna be out of your system sooner than drugs.
Yeah. If you keep eating sesame seeds, it doesn't matter. Some people eat them all the time. Some people eat them once in a blue moon.
Yeah, but 2 or 3 tests, I mean, come on. I mean, some parents might object it being once, let alone 2 or 3 times. I mean, even if they agree to do it once, are they gonna agree to do it a second and third time? I mean, I mean, I'm not saying it would happen, but it's a possibility that it could put the child through some emotional stress.
Well, there's a pretty good chance that if the test comes back positive, it's gonna go out of the school's hands into juvenile anyway.
Ooh.
But, still though, I mean, you're gonna suspect somebody, but back to what you said about, keeping an eye on the kid if their parents say no. Well, how would their parents know? I mean, maybe their parents just don't want their kid feeling like they're a criminal. Or maybe if they wanted to have a drug test, they would take them somewhere where they wanted to do it.
Well, that's like I said, that's really up to the parents, but I wouldn't mind it. You know, especially if they're trying to get all these drug users and stuff out of the schools. Would that bother you if they asked you that when they're trying to get drug dealers and users out of school?
That would bother me because it would make me feel like they think I'm doing drugs.
What if they did it to everybody? Would it still bother you?
Then it would make everybody think that they think that we're doing drugs.
Any other questions from the team?
I got a question about the false testing. So if you're gonna take, since it's gonna be random, some people they're not gonna know. They could eat poppy seeds the same day, and then if they test them, they're gonna think, hey, look, this kid's doing drugs. And then if they do like Patrick said, they're gonna do the test over and over. If that kid still don't know that poppy seeds is gonna show up, like some kind of marijuana or something like that. But still the kids are gonna keep on eating. And still.
Well, maybe the school would notify them not to eat those certain foods before the test.
How you gonna tell the kid to stop eating them? No.
You're not gonna know if the kids is eating.
Well, if you ever had surgery or something, you get one of those big sheets of things not to do.
Yes.
Yeah, what was the school
Who's
gonna
gonna
do?
listen
Hand
to
out big
that?
sheets not to do?
They hand out enough sheets
No, I don't think so.
But who's gonna listen? Who's gonna stop?
Oh yeah, slow down everybody. Slow down.
Who's gonna listen to you?
Would you listen to your doctor if he told you that?
No, that's a totally different thing. Because if you have surgery and you eat a certain food, it might be fatal. But if you have a drug test and you eat a certain food, it's not going to be fatal. They're just going to think you're doing drugs.
It still goes to
Totally
the same
different.
category.
Totally different.
No, because it goes to, if you don't eat that, there's not going to be a problem.
Okay. Okay, before we open up this. Misha Turner, from the library. The library.
Mr. Trisell, you're about out of time.
Yeah, we're running out of time. So tomorrow we'll open it up to the floor for comments. Okay, good job. Start the final day of the debate. Yesterday, the topic of the debate was whether there should be random drug testing in school. This team is pro. This team is the con side, okay? Random drug testing means they can check you randomly to see if there's any drugs in your system. Okay, without your permission, without your parents' permission. Okay, now from the audience, any comments, questions, points you want to bring up to either side?
For this side, wouldn't it, I don't think that random drug testing stops drug use. If they're going to use it, it'll show up, sure, but they can blame it on a number of other possibilities.
Well, but they can still be helped though. It might not stop drug use, but they can be helped with like a rehabilitation.
If they blame it on somebody else, how are you going to know that they're using drugs? They could say they had a poppy seed bagel for breakfast. They're on medication. What are you going to do? Stop them from eating bagels and say that they can't have medications vital to their needs?
No, that would be a point that have to be brought up. They wouldn't just be blamed automatically. Don't you think that they'd be questioned if it came back positive?
It sounds to me, from what I've heard so far, that you're just saying, he showed up positive, he used drugs.
That's not the point of it.
Any other comments, please?
What about that, like that true story that they made to a movie about the kid that took cold pills and took a drug test, came out positive, and they expelled him, but he got that lawyer and stuff, so I don't think it's right having a drug test. Possible.
Any other comments? Steve, please.
You said over there, Patrick, that if they were, like, the people that were doing drugs are going to be kicked out of school, well, what if they want to come to school just like everybody else?
I didn't say they'd be kicked out. I said they could probably get rehabilitation and then come back.
What are they supposed to do in the meantime?
Go to the rehabilitation center. Get tutored.
So you're saying that they have to have a private tutor because they supposedly use drugs when, as he mentioned, they may have just taken cold pills.
Well, if they did, it'll come back on a different test, won't it?
No.
It may show up on multiple tests.
Well, it may, but it's not totally positive.
People with allergies can take cold medicine year-round to reduce the problems that they have with their allergies. So if they take it year-round, as aforementioned, then you have a serious problem with random drugs.
About that, too.
Are you the only speaker on your team?
Apparently.
Any other questions or comments from the people, from the audience?
Someone said something about when you're taking pills or eat something for breakfast, when they take the test and they'll be positive on drugs, to make sure they could send a note home to your mother, asking them if you ate this certain thing, and they'll be excused.
But can I answer that? I can answer that?
You can tell, yeah.
But what if like people forge it? You go and smoke some weed, and then you come home and you write a letter. Was your son eating any of these foods? Then you can just no. You don't gotta get your mother to sign. You could call.
What if you parents don't know you be
I know, really.
Well,
But if
your
you go to the
parents
store
monitor
before
you for
school, how are they
breakfast?
supposed to
If
know?
someone, if I smoke fat food, and then someone asks me, "Are you eating poppy seeds?" Yup. I can say, what am I gonna say? No, I smoked the fat food. I don't know why. Say I had poppy seeds.